Hello and welcome. A special welcome to all the students from Europe Hotel School joining us today. My name is, well, you can think of me as your hotel AI expert, and I am thrilled to be guiding you on this part of your online learning journey. Today, we're jumping into a topic that is absolutely critical for anyone who wants to be a leader in hospitality: revenue optimization. Let's get right into it.
This quote right here, it really gets to the heart of it. This isn't just some vague business goal. No, it's the core principle, the very foundation of a successful hotel operation. In such a competitive world, mastering the art and science of revenue, well, that's what separates a good manager from a truly great one. Everything you're going to build in your career starts right here.
So here's our game plan. We're going to tackle this in a few key stages. First, we'll dive deep into dynamic pricing. That's really the engine of modern revenue. Then we'll talk about creating value that guests can't resist. After that, we'll get into the really fun stuff, the psychology of booking. And to wrap it all up, we'll pull it all together into an integrated toolkit that you can take with you.
Okay, let's start with mastering dynamic pricing. Now, this isn't about just randomly changing your rates and hoping for the best. It's about being smart. It's about using data to make quick, intelligent decisions that keep you one step ahead of the market. This is where the magic really happens.
So what exactly do we mean by demand-based pricing? At its heart, it just means you're flexible. You're not stuck with one price. Think about it. When there's a huge festival in town and your city is buzzing, your rate should reflect that high demand. But on a quiet Tuesday in the middle of February, your rates need to adapt to attract business. It's all about constantly adjusting to capture the absolute maximum revenue, no matter what day it is.
And how do we actually do it? Well, it boils down to a pretty straightforward three-step dance. Step 1, you look at the data. You see what happened last year, and you look at forecasts to see what's coming. Step 2, you keep a close eye on your competition. What are they up to? And step 3, based on all that intel, you make your move. You adjust your rates to hit that sweet spot between occupancy and price.
But what's the actual payoff? Well, this chart says it all. A hotel that just sets one price and forgets it, static pricing, they might be leaving a ton of money on the table, only capturing about 65% of what's possible. But a hotel using a dynamic strategy, you can push that number up to 90% or even higher. And that gap, that massive gap, isn't just a little extra profit. It's the difference between struggling to cover costs and having the funds to do a major renovation, invest in your staff, and build an incredible brand. It's the difference between surviving and thriving.
Dynamic pricing isn't just about what you charge per night, though. There's another super powerful tool you can use. We call it managing the length of stay, or LOS. And when you use it right, it works perfectly with your pricing strategy to give your profitability a serious boost.
So here's how you put it into practice. Let's say it's a huge holiday weekend. You might set a 2 or 3 night minimum stay. Why would you do that? Because it stops a single one-night booking from blocking a room on a Saturday, leaving Friday unbookable right when demand is through the roof. On the other hand, during a slow week, you can offer fantastic deals for people who stay longer. It's a win-win. You lock in revenue and make your operations run a whole lot smoother. Okay, so we've covered the numbers and the pricing, but let's be honest, the best hotels don't just compete on price, they compete on value. So this section is all about shifting the guest's mindset from "how much is it?" to "wow, look what I get for my money."
And one of the best ways to build that value is with package deals. When you bundle a room with other cool services, you're not just selling a bed for the night anymore. You're selling an entire experience. You're selling a memory. And for guests who are looking for a seamless, curated trip, that is incredibly attractive.
I mean, just look at this weekend getaway package. It's not just a room, it's the 2 nights, plus breakfast, a credit for the spa, the convenience of a late checkout. You're even throwing in a local tour. Each of these things adds to the value, and together they create an offer that feels so much more special than just a room, but is still very, very profitable for the hotel.
Now, while we're talking about value, there are 2 key tactics you need to know: upselling and cross-selling. Upselling is pretty simple. It's encouraging a guest to move up to a better room, maybe from a standard to a deluxe with a view. Cross-selling is about adding other things to their booking, like that airport transfer or maybe a tour. Both are fantastic ways to increase your revenue per guest, while actually making their stay even better.
All right, now for one of my favorite topics, the psychology behind why people book. We've talked about the logical side of things, the pricing, the value. Now let's look at the subtle psychological nudges that influence people and get them to hit that confirm reservation button.
I want you to really think about this question for a second. How can a simple price tag do more than just tell you the cost? Because it can.
A price tells a story. It sends signals about quality, about value, about urgency. And the trick is learning how to make that price tag work for you. Let's look at a few powerful ways to do exactly that.
First up is a tactic called price anchoring. Here's how it works. If the very first price a guest sees on your website is for the presidential suite at, say, $2,000 a night, their brain immediately sets that as the high anchor. So when they scroll down and see the deluxe room for $350, what happens? It suddenly seems like a fantastic deal in comparison. You're framing their perception of value simply by the order you present things. Next up is a classic, and it's a classic for a reason. The power of the number 9. You've seen this everywhere. Our brains are wired to read from left to right, so when we see a price like $99, we process it as being in the 100-something range. But $200, that's firmly in the $200 range. That tiny $1 difference creates a psychological gap that feels way bigger than it actually is. It's called charm pricing, and trust me, it still works.
And finally, let's talk about urgency. Have you ever seen those messages like, only 2 rooms left at this price, or sale ends in 24 hours? That's not an accident. They tap into a very powerful human emotion, the fear of missing out, or FOMO. This creates a sense of scarcity that can turn someone who's just browsing into someone who's booking right now before the opportunity disappears.
Now here's the most important part. None of these things, the dynamic pricing, the packages, the psychology, none of them work in a vacuum. The real magic happens when you understand how they all fit together, when you combine them into a single, powerful, integrated toolkit.
This slide really brings it all home. This is your toolkit. You've got the data-driven precision of demand-based pricing and length of stay controls. You have the guest-focused creativity of package deals, upselling, and cross-selling. And you've got the sharp, persuasive edge of psychological tactics like anchoring and urgency. When you learn how to use all of these tools together in harmony, you create an absolutely unstoppable revenue engine for your hotel.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. As you get ready to step into the hospitality world as its next generation of leaders, this entire toolkit is now yours. You have the knowledge. The only question left is, which of these tools are you going to pick up and master first to start writing your own success story? Thank you so much for your time.